Okay, so this is my video on the FAY Enchantress mainly, but I'm just going to add a little bit of lore on ALBERIC of Bordelot, because he's getting added as well, although there's so little lore on him, or just general information, that there's no point in me actually making a video on him, because it would be like 1 minute long. So I'm just going to give you what lore we have, and you can kind of imagine what you want to imagine with this. All we can do is speculate at this point. Alberic is the current Duke of Bordelot, Bretonnia. He is renowned for his personal courage and outstanding self-discipline. He is also notorious for expecting all of his household knights to reach the same standard and for dismissing those who do not. As a result, he has the smallest household of any duke, but the knights there are some of the greatest in the realm. The Duke has always wanted to go on the quest for the Grail, but his father died when he was still out on his errantry tour, and Alberic was never able to hand the responsibilities of the dukedom on to someone else. His eldest son, Furmund, would be a fine candidate, but he left on his own Grail quest. Absolutely cucked. This and the Duke's advancing age seem to have pushed him to do more than wish. Solid rumour suggests that he is looking for a reliable steward to run the dukedom in his absence. Alright, so there's not much to go on there at all, so I'm not going to ramble about it too hard. But I know we can infer from this that he's going to have some kind of bonus to your knights to make them more experienced. But I think it would be nice if they went the whole hog on this and increased the upkeep of your knights to simulate the fact that he has the smallest household of any of the dukes. But like massively buff the XP of your knights. So like whenever you train a unit of knights, they come with like silver XP or something. I don't know. That you could balance this out so that it's actually a buff, although it's kind of forces you to have less knights, but they'll just make your knights super good. I think that could be cool, but I mean, who knows how they're going to do this. That will be something to do with something in that ballpark. Is going to be his campaign bonus though. So yeah, that's all we can say about him right now. The FAY Enchantress is the personal representative of the Lady of the Lake, and as such is the most influential figure in all of Bretonnia. A big parallel to the Pope here, I think, is going on. Her will is that of the goddess, and even kings must bow to her wise counsel. Like the Pope, this is the Pope, but a hot girl instead of an old man. Nice switch up there, may I add. The Grail Knights, having sworn their lives completely to the goddess, are bound by their sacred oaths to respond to any call or decree of the FAY Enchantress, like the Pope. Their vows ensure that this duty is paramount, coming before even loyalties to Duke and King, like the Pope, for the FAY Enchantress and the Lady of the Lake represent more than any mortal lord ever could. Oh my god, she is the Pope. She is the Pope, the Lady of the Lake is God, and she is the Pope. Let's just make that clear, okay? I'm going to stop saying it now. At times when the king has no clear heir, the FAY Enchantress alone has the power to instate a worthy replacement. Evidence of the FAY Enchantress's power over the realms can most forcibly be seen during the time of King Belaume the Brave, when she ordered the Grail Knights of the king's own court to forcefully expel him, stripping him of his title and honour before banishing him from the realm and installing his successor. Kind of like an excommunication. It is believed that through the centuries there have been many enchantresses, and she has gone by many different names. The current FAY Enchantress is known as Morgiana. Some believe that the FAY Enchantress has lived through all the ages of Bretonnia, making her thousands of years old. Others speculate that when each FAY Enchantress passes from the world, she is instantly reincarnated so she can continue her sacred duty. That would be kind of like Orion of the Wood Elves. They're making this kind of ambiguous here. I saw two people kind of arguing in the comments. Not exactly arguing, it was a good-natured discussion. But one of them seemed to think that the FAY Enchantress was a Wood Elf sorcerer, and one seemed to think that they were human. But they've made this kind of ambiguous here, and I think the one that thought the FAY Enchantress was the Wood Elf sorcerer had read like a kind of a dated version of the lore when she was younger. But I think now they've not necessarily said that she's human. It seems like it's ambiguous and people don't really know. Because some people think it's the same FAY Enchantress, which would mean that it's possible that she's a Wood Elf that's infiltrated. Because they can live to thousands of years old, right? but some people think it's a different Fey Enchantress each time, or that she is instantly reincarnated, which would be some kind of human that's casting some kind of spell to carry on. But either way, maybe another conspiracy theory you could make would perhaps be that the Lady of the Lake is just possessing someone, and that is the Fey Enchantress. That would be pretty cool. Existing outside the usual hierarchy of power within Bretonnia, the Fey Enchantress comes and goes as she pleases, guided by the will of the Lady of the Lake. It has been known for her to appear to questing knights, guiding them on their final journey to the Lady. As she travels the lands, slipping mysteriously between sacred groves, she gathers to her side young children, children that have intense latent power within them, as is hidden to all but herself. These chosen youngsters are taken by the Fey Enchantress to a place beyond time and mortality, to the mysterious otherworld. That's kind of creepy. That's pretty fucking creepy. The girl children occasionally return years later as the damsels of the Lady, so that is the current wizard unit for the Bretonnians right now. Blessed in spirit and heart. Of the male children, nothing is ever heard again. Holy God. She's a rampant feminist. On occasions of particular peril, the Fey Enchantress will rouse the dukes or even the king himself and ready them for war. She will sometimes ride alongside these armies, lending her unearthly powers towards the protection of those fighting in the name of the Lady. Her legendary fury is greatly feared, and her piercing eyes crackle with power, inspiring terror and awe in friend and foe alike. She has been known to draw lightning from the sky to strike her enemies, and slay with but a wrathful glance. But a wrathful glance can kill you. Sounds pretty OP, but I'm sure that's not actually going to be a thing. Perhaps that's going to be an ability, though. They could give her an ability of, piercing gaze or something that does, huge damage to a single unit or something like that. That could be pretty good. But there you go. She's the Fey Enchantress. She's the third choice of Lord for you to take. King Lewin, Alberic of Bordelot, and the Fey Enchantress. And we know nothing about Alberic of Bordelot, but we know quite a lot about the Fey Enchantress. She is a young, hot pope who is female, and she knows magic. I reckon definitely she's going to be bringing bonuses for damsels. Maybe you're just going to get free damsels when these children come back from the other world. That creepy kind of rape dungeon that she seems to have. And you'll just get free damsels as a trickle throughout the campaign, perhaps. I don't know. Definitely herself, she's going to be a buffed up version of a damsel. More tanky, more spells, more mana. Perhaps even different laws of magic other than just the law of heavens. I wouldn't be surprised if she has the law of life, because she has a lot of green plant imagery and stuff. She's riding on a unicorn in some of the pictures, so that's a possible mount for her there. And yeah, also I think perhaps she could give you bonuses to diplomacy for other Bretonnian factions in the campaign. I think that's pretty plausible, because she's the ultimate authority in a way, in the same way that the Pope was in Christendom in Europe until the rise of Protestantism and a couple excursions with the Holy Roman Emperor in Germany. But yeah, you're going to be able to perhaps have a bonus to your diplomatic relations with other Bretonnian factions to simulate the fact that she can overrule kings sometimes and excommunicate people. Perhaps if you're not playing as the Fey Enchantress, you kind of have to. She'll give you random missions and things like it works with the Pope in medieval Total War II. Maybe. But I think it's more likely that the Lady of the Lake is going to give you quests and things like that, and the Green Knight is going to crop up in some kind of event. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. This is the lore of the Fey Enchantress and a bit of my speculation, and I try not to ramble for so long this time, so I hope that works for you. And yeah, Merry Christmas, have a good time, hope you enjoyed the vid, like and subscribe. See ya.